How you doing? Al Weissman here.
Hi, Mark.
Oh, great. I'm on speakerphone right now.
Okay, you know Delores, don't you?
Hi, Delores.
Hi, how are you, sir?
We're doing great. How you guys doing?
We're
really
doing
excited.
Great. Every once in a while you might hear Delores in the voice of Marge Simpson, so don't be shocked.
I don't know, homie. Okay, go ahead.
That's part of the shtick on our show, you know.
Hi, this is Larry Tamblyn.
How you doing, Larry?
How are you?
Yeah. Just so you know, I founded the group in 1962.
Right.
Oh, okay. You already knew that.
I did a little...
Robert.
What's that?
And I don't know if you know that John is another original member. He didn't join us until 1967.
He's the bass player.
Yeah, he was known as John Fleck back in the 60s. He was, on Ride on Sunset Strip. He actually composed that song. And then, now he goes by both, John Fleck and John Fleckenstein.
Okay. All right. Well, this is not going to be an excessively lengthy interview. It'll be about 15 minutes. So, if you're ready...
You want to check it to make sure it's...
I think so. Yeah, can you hear us good? Because we can hear you pretty good.
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Great.
Okay. So what I would first ask is, do we have Larry Tamblyn, John Fleck, Greg Burnham, and Mark Adrian all together now?
Yeah.
Okay. Each one of you, if you would please, tell us your name, the town in which you live, your instrument that you play, and a little bit about yourselves, please.
I didn't understand your question. I got it. I'll tell you. He wants you to tell your name, what town you live in, what instrument you play, and a little bit about yourself. Okay. I'm Larry Tamblyn. I'm the founder, leader, and lead singer of the Standells. I live in Palmdale, California. We all live in Southern California, so we're not a Boston-based group.
I didn't think so for some reason.
They probably have dirty water down there, too.
We have the dirtiest, actually. The people that fish off the pier have known to land, some fish with two heads.
Isn't there a Charles River also in San Diego or something?
I don't know, but it's the one in Boston. The LA River is almost a joke because it's a runoff from a lot of properties and stuff, and it's just they're trying to clean it up.
Your rivers are all dried up, anyways. You've got a big
drought
going on over there.
Yes, the drought is. We're getting some El Nino, so that's been very helpful. Okay, so we're going to go to our bass player.
Okay.
Hi, this is John Fleck. I'm from Los Angeles. The little personal stuff that takes a lot of time. But anyway, I was a cinematographer. I retired. An instrument. I play bass.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
I play bass, and I retired, and jumping in horses, roughly jumping, and that's what I do now. I forgot to add that I also play keyboards.
Okay.
Okay, if you don't... Oh, yeah.
Okay, Alan, you want me to go next?
Yeah, Mark?
Yeah, this is Mark Adrian. I'm the guitar player in the Standells. I live in the LA area, a city called Tonga, which is right near Burbank. And I've been with the band, I believe, going on 5 or 6 years. And having a great time. And, I was involved in the Bump CD. And obviously we're all involved in the live CD on Sony Records. Which you can get on Amazon for $6.
What's the name of that CD?
What's the name of the CD?
It's called Bump.
Bump, yes. Okay, sure.
These all original members.
And the Sony CD is called The Standells, the 60s. That's on Sony.
Right.
It's actually reversed. It's the 60s, the Standells.
Okay.
And we recorded this live in Chicago on the main stage last year while on tour, and they had a Pro Tools set up. I'm a Pro Tools engineer, so I just put my hard drive in there. They recorded it, and it came out great, so great that we mixed it, and Sony loved it. So that's the story on that.
That's awesome.
Cool. That's great.
On this CD, at the end of Dirty Water, we say how much we love Chicago and that you're my home. Yeah. Last but not least, Greg Burnham, and I'm drummer and I do some vocals with the band. And I'm originally from New England, actually, Connecticut, but I've lived out here for 35 years. I live in Burbank. I'm far from John, actually. And I put together a studio here in my garage. All of us have contributed, and we have the Standells Dirty Water Garage Studio. Yeah, let me tell you the background on that. Dirty Water was recorded in a garage studio. It was Armin Steiner's garage in the back of his home. And, I guess that was probably the birth of garage rock. Anyway, we knew we wanted to record an album, and we started off in the professional studio, and we just couldn't get it together. And we decided that we really needed to go back to our roots, and that's why we built this garage studio. It's funky. It's a place we feel comfortable in, and it's where creative ideas can flow. And so that's how this came about.
Do they flow? Do they flow next to the dirty water? Huh?
Okay. Listen.
The studio that Larry's talking about was for the Bump CD. We recorded that, yeah.
I got you. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. The Standells have been around a long time and have done a lot of interesting things. But I want to start with some inquiries about the here and now, a recent event, and then we'll go back a little bit in time. I saw you guys perform an amazing set at Cornerstones of Rock American Garage at the WTTW studio in Chicago on October 16th of this year, 2015. There were some great sounds rocking off of that stage. The Standells are a California-based group. When the word came out about the WTTW Cornerstones of Rock American Garage event, the only groups that were named in the first announcement were Chicago-based groups, the Ides of March, Shadows of Night, Eliota Haynes, Jeremiah, Crying Shames, New Colony 6, the McCoys, and the American Breed. Later, we heard that the Standells were going to be included in the performance, and I can tell you that speaking for myself and everyone I talked to about it, regardless of whether it was the original plan to have you in there or not, you were definitely a welcome addition to the program. It was a heck of a performance. But were you guys scheduled from the beginning, or was there a change of plans, or can you talk about it?
Oh, thanks. This is really a last-minute thing, and I think our manager, Mike Copley, put this thing together in like a couple of weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks before the show, so there was already a complete show with Rick Derringer, with the rest of them, before we entered into it. So that's probably why.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, that makes sense. But garage bands were all there, and it was wonderful, really cool. Now, in the Wayback Machine, you guys started with a Mouseketeer, Dick Dodd, and Russ Tamblyn, the brother of Russ Tamblyn, Larry Tamblyn. Russ Tamblyn played riff in West Side Story. When I saw that picture in my research, I freaked out because that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Russ is still very active. In fact, I just visited with he and his wife a few days ago, and they're doing very well. And of course, probably know about my niece Amber Tamblyn, who was doing a Arcadia on House on a number of TV shows.
Yeah. Very cool. And then you guys went on to record one of the more prominent social protest songs of the time, Dirty Water. And I know that some people called it the beginnings of punk, but I think that it easily comes in as a protest song, no?
I guess it was more, I don't know if I would call it a protest song, but it was. I mean, we mentioned, if you listen to the lyrics, love that dirty water was said more in passing than it was about the conditions conditions of the river. But, people got it. And that's the main thing is that, we sang about the wretched conditions there, and, not only the water, but the lower life forms that lived alongside the river there, and how dangerous it was. And I think what came out of it was probably perhaps the most important thing, in that they used our song "Dirty Water" as a theme to clean it up. And now today, it's one of the cleanest rivers in the United States.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're making, they're brewing a new beer called the Charles River Ale, and they're using water from the Charles River. Yeah.
Wow, incredible.
That's amazing. Cool.
I had this mental image of oodles of protesters lining the banks of the Charles River in Boston, holding hands and singing "Dirty Water." I don't know. Is that my fantasy, or did that actually possibly happen?
We're not sure, but we'll take it. The song was adopted by the Boston Red Sox and by Boston in general. The Red Sox started using the song, I think, back in 2009, and they did it with there was a walk-off home run where the bases loaded, and this music director who was a fan of the Standells decided that was the time to play "Dirty Water." They played it ever since for every win at home in Boston, and we've been now to every World Series. 2004, we were there in again in 2005, 6, and then 7, and then 8, and 9, and 9 was, of course, the next World Series, and then we were there in 2013. So they brought us back every time. We're kind of like the good luck charm.
Did you sing it each time?
Oh yeah. They put us in VIP seating, and they had us perform, before the game, pre-game, and of course, once they won the song, they play it over the system, and everybody goes nuts and sings along with it.
But I understand that in the early years, it was actually banned in Boston. Is that true?
I don't know. That's a famous terminology, banned in Boston. I don't know if it was banned there or not. I don't have any information of such. I know that they did play it, and I know that it did go to the top of the charts there. It wasn't right away. The song actually broke in fact, you used the term broke, by the way, back then at WLOF in Orlando, Florida, and then spread into Miami and then off the coast. So it didn't actually hit Boston until 1 or 2 months later.
I see. Because I did read somewhere that it was originally banned, and now that it's become accepted as the song to play at the Red Sox games and the Bruins games and so forth, that's quite a transformation that occurred over the years. And I was wondering if it was rewarding or frustrating to be the messenger of those lyrics that were... we're just a typical rock and roll group. We recorded the song. We had no idea it would become the hit and the iconic song that it was. In fact, when we recorded it, we completely forgot it. And it didn't hit the charts until 9 months after we recorded it. So it's just one of those things, and, we're certainly grateful for it because, it's carried us along pretty well. Sure, and now the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame lists it as one of the 500 songs that shaped rock and roll. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, again, that is just such an honor. We visited the Rock Hall of Fame last year on our tour, and they asked us to come, and they took us on a tour, and, we went through it, and they have a special kiosk where they have a thing for the Standells, and I understand they're gonna expand the Garage Rock exhibit there to quite something, because it is an important part of American music, and up until now, it hasn't been recognized as such.
Sure. Well, that'd be great. Go ahead.
What?
Another song song that you folks sang was "Sometimes Good Guys Don't Wear White," which also discussed societal prejudices about clothes, hair length, occupation, social status. It seemed to be a theme among those songs about discussing and confronting social prejudices.
We were considered the working class group. We always represented those people that were out there working, for their jobs and were getting passed over for a lot of things, that worked hard for their families, and we were right in the middle of that. And sometimes Good Guys Don't Wear White is a perfect example because we sing about you don't have to be the shining knight in white armor to be the good guy. Good guys come in all shapes and all colors, and that's what we wanted to get out, and that's what the song represented, I think, more than anything.
I see.
Yep.
All right,
that's why we wear black. That's why we wear black on stage.
Oh, I see. Okay. And then
we all wore black during the show. Virtually all of our shows, because that's the theme of the band, is that because you have long hair or you dress different doesn't mean you're a bad guy.
Yeah. Well, I admire you guys and your courage for continuously putting yourself out there, knowing that every once in a while people get smacked down,
Yeah, and we all seem to be a controversial group. As you know, one of our songs got banned by a majority person. Try It was considered to be a hit by Billboard magazine, pegged it as our next big hit, and all the radio stations jumped on it, and we were so excited. And then Gordon McClendon out of Texas, KLIF, and also the programming for a number of radio stations, decided back then to form a committee on record lyrics. And he just claimed on Billboard magazine that his stations were no longer going to play records with questionable lyrics. And so he picked our song, Try It, as his example. And not only did he pick it, but he did a national campaign showing our record, Try It, to every news media throughout the country. He went on television, he showed the record, and he said, this is an example of something that's obscene, that we advise people not to buy, and parents not to sell, to get to have your kids play, and radio stations not to play.
Oh, my
goodness. That's all the radio stations that were playing Try It stopped playing it, even though it was number one on a lot of markets. Like Los Angeles, it was number one. Yeah. And KRLA played it, and KHJ wouldn't touch it. That's the good guy.
Wow. That's
what a jerk.
That's the band song story. Yeah, and Gordon McClendon was, I can say this, he was a hypocrite. And Art Linkletter heard about him banning the song. He had us on his show. At that time, he had the house party show, and he had a special segment called Let's Talk. And so he had us on debating McClendon. And John and I, we did our homework on this guy, didn't we, John? We were trying to get one of the first shock television things he ever did for Linkletter. And they were really starting. He was trying to start shock stuff. But we studied up and did research on him because he was a foul character. Yeah, he was a friend of Jack Ruby's, by the way.
You're kidding.
Wow.
And so this is the man that was responsible for banning our records. We absolutely massacred him in the debate, but the television station edited it to make it look more even.
Favorable.
Well, he had friends in high places, I'm sure. So, I'm sorry to hear about that. If I can switch gears. Yeah, sure. Now, how in the heck did the Standells wind up on the Munsters TV show?
That's an interesting story because that was before we had our first hit. About a year before, as a matter of fact, 1965. one of our managers was pretty well connected in Hollywood, and at that time the Beatles were starting to really hit it big, and so all of these shows, programs, were looking for pardon me, a group to be on their show like the Beatles, and we just happened to be available. We lived in Hollywood, and so they picked us on there, and then the fact that I had acting experience as well as one of the other guys, so it was a natural. The only thing is that the songs that we did not choose. They were chosen for us.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
But we all acted in it and sang and had a lot of fun doing it. The cast was just superb. Fleck, Gwen,
it had to be a ball, sure.
You're friends with Butch Patrick, right? Yeah, Butch Patrick is a very good Facebook friend, and so it was just it was a great experience.
How cool! Now I understand that did one of you guys have to go under brain surgery on Ben Casey's show? I read that you guys were on the Ben Casey.
Yeah. That was just another one. We did a ton of shows and Ben Casey was just one where we played in the background and didn't have any acting parts, but a lot of people have stayed in. And in fact, what's his name? Played Ben Casey. Why can't I think of the name? He was on Hollywood Palace, and the night that went on Hollywood Palace, remember that show?
Sure.
And he does, and Edwards, we'll have it in a minute. But he introduced us on Vince Edwards. Okay, I had it partially.
Vince Edwards, right.
He introduced us on the show, which was cool.
Oh, nice. So now I think the question in the minds of many people is what comes next? Is social change still on the Standells agenda, or have you achieved your mission in that respect? What's the thrust of your current musical direction?
Well, social change has always been, kind of important to us. Even on the Bump album and on the 60s, the Standells, we have a couple of songs that are about social change and social consciousness. One of them I wrote called Mr. 1%. It's really a dig at the wealthiest 1%, of course, who get all the breaks, and the rest of us get what's left over. John and I got together and wrote another song called "It's All About the Money," and mainly about the same thing. How money plays into campaigns and to everything we do these days.
Oh, that's pretty timely. That's pretty timely, I'd say.
Yeah, Alan, you can go online and you can hear those two songs for nothing. It's the Bump CD, the Standells, released in 2014. So you can get the CD too. But that's just saying. Yeah, and we also did that. It's All About the Money on the live CD because our concerts consist of old songs and new songs. We don't want to be just some kind of old rock and roll group, regurgitating their old songs. We want to still remain fresh and show that we're relevant today, and so that's why we throw in some of the new songs as well.
I see. Very cool. Very cool. Now I understand that. Did you mention that you were on tour last year?
Yeah, we had a grinding tour. That's the only way I can explain it. We drove in a van all across the country. It was an 18-city tour. And we went to the east and to the south and all over the place. And it was just one city after the next. In some occasions, like a different city every night. Yeah, it was exhausting and yet exhilarating at the same time. Let me add to that. We worked our way up to B.B. King's in New York. It was a highlight. It was a fantastic show.
Oh my!
And we ended up in Vegas and San Diego, pretty much everything in between. So we got the songs in our DNA now. Yeah. And then after that, we went to Italy. We did a concert over there in Parma, Italy.
Okay.
And if you look on YouTube, you'll find that sometimes good guys don't wear white in concert, and that's listed under the Standells site on YouTube, and you'll see the performance on that, and they just went crazy. There was like 5,000 people there screaming, and it was just great, and what a wonderful place to play. We loved it there. Also, on our website, standellsofficial.com, it's on there as well. Yes, that's a better place. It's a better place to look. Yeah, you see the video. You see like 3-minute clip of a bunch of stuff, but it starts off with Italy. And what a great time and what great people. Yeah, we loved it.
That's cool. Very, very cool. Are there any plans for another tour?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. We've got one in the works we can't talk about right now, but it looks like it's going to happen. We don't like to really talk about these things until the deals are signed, but I can tell you that things are happening. We just got booked in Las Vegas at the Cannery for May 28th of next year, and they do big outdoor concerts there. It's not inside the casino. Like a great theater. And
that should be a fun gig.
What's that?
That should be a fun gig.
Yeah, and we know there's also another casino that we're going to be playing at in California, and then we know that that the PBS people, BMG, want us for another concert in New York on PBS. That's probably in June. So it looks like it's just going to be a great year for us, and we're just so appreciative of everything that everybody's done for us, and it's what we've all worked hard for on the last 5 years, and it's really seemed to have paid off.
Well,
Let me ask you, it looks like we're coming back to the Arcada, which is down the street from you guys.
Right.
Yeah, we haven't signed that, but what's the thing that came up to us? They said it's not a question of if, it's when.
Good for you. That's great. Good for us. We get to go too. That's cool. Any new releases planned in the foreseeable future?
Are we just releasing CDs? Yeah, I mean, we've got 2 CDs out, and, I think right now we're going to see what happens with those. I mean, I can't think of any other group that's still doing CDs, besides, the big groups like the Rolling Stones. But we're still trying to be relevant and still trying to keep, our approach fresh. You saw us on the show. You saw how we perform. We don't just sit up there and do our songs. We actually put on a show.
You guys are rocking the house.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. We went on the road in support of the Bump album, and we left Washington D.C. up to New York, and we came into Chicago, and they wanted us to do an album at the main stage. It would have to happen the 60s, and that was just released 2 months ago.
Oh, I see.
We're very young about this, and that's on Sony Music again. So we're going to be supporting, the Bump CD and the live CD on Sony, and anything we do with PBS over the next year and a half. We're looking forward to it.
Now, did Bump come out in vinyl too, or just CD?
We're not sure. We were told it was going to come out in vinyl by Global Recording Artists, which is the label, but we're not sure. To be honest with you on that one.
Okay, all right. Well, I want to thank you so very, very much for appearing on In a Nutshell today. I just want John Fleck and Greg Burnham to know that our show has a very strong policy prohibiting discrimination against bass players and drummers. So if they ever feel discriminated against, they should give us a call, and we can help.
Okay, we'll do that. Hey, Alan, like we told Greg, just to keep him down, we got 3 musicians and a drummer.
Thank you very much, much, gentlemen. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you. Awesome.
Good luck, and we'll be watching for you at the Arcada.
You guys rock.
Thank you both. You guys do also. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mark, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
You
You
too.
too.
Bye-bye.